Hello, everyone. Welcome to In Other News, the somewhat surprise, spontaneous news show when I can do one and have the availability. It's been a minute. There's been a lot going on. You may have heard some of it. But on this show, we try to address some of the news that you may not have heard about or look at it in a perspective that you may not have considered. So thank you for joining. I do a bunch of other stuff on this channel, including a morning show that's at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every day, where we investigate curiosities from history or the science of history, and other interesting things. If you're up for that, I hope you subscribe, stick around, and join us weekday mornings. For today, I have a weird one, and honestly, it's kind of delightful, considering how much crap has been going on in the world in the last 48 hours. Yes, that is a pink Power Ranger. I saw this headline, and I was just flummoxed that this was real. So, this is one of many stories. This story's been going semi-viral. Let's just get into it. The headline says, hacktivist deletes Tinder for Nazis live on stage while dressed as a Power Ranger. That is not a sentence I imagined I would be saying, ever. The subheadline, for lack of a better term, it's a quote, and it says, imagine calling yourselves the master race, but forgetting to secure your own website. So, this story comes to us a couple of days ago from a broadcast of the what is it? It's the CCC. It's a German conference about, well, we're hackers. It's a hacker conference. And as part of this conference, this hacktivist, I suppose, is as good a term as any, took the stage, gave a 45-minute presentation, and then just obliterated 3 white supremacist websites live on stage. Kind of glorious. Incidentally, the full speech in both English and the original German versions are linked in the description of this video. And there's a reason for that. In fact, I mean, I'm sure it's delightful to see anyway, but to license the video component we're going to be looking at later requires a Creative Commons attribution, which includes the link to the original. So by that token, be advised that the video you're going to see is available for your use too under Creative Commons license. Just saying. Okay, so the author, Ariel Rucker, writes in this version of the story, because it has gone semi-viral. A hacktivist took down 3 white supremacist websites live on stage while iconically dressed as the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you could be a Power Ranger and demolish some evil, why in the world wouldn't you? I'm certain friend of the community, Dapper Dinosaur, would strongly approve. In fact, I'm not entirely sure it's not Dapper, though he usually shows up looking like a dinosaur. But details. Martha Root, the pseudonym for a German hacker, ended a speech at an annual hacker conference by deleting the servers of White Date, White Child, and White Deal while still live on stage. Amazing. Now, White Date, as you might guess, both from the thumbnail and from the tenor of the discussion thus far, is Tinder for Nazis. It's dating, but only for white people. As you can imagine, the kind of superior genetics available on full display on that website made very, very few women eager to join. We'll get into some of how we know how many women there were a little bit later, But TLDR, it's 4. There were 4 women on the Nazi Tinder website. There were several profiles identified as female, but almost all of them were chatbots. But we'll get to it. The other 2 that you may be less familiar with are White Child, which sounds bad, but is actually also bad, but in a different way. White Child was a site, and yes, was, because it's gone now, where individuals could get together to exchange genetic material in order to produce a pure-blooded offspring. In case the Nazi dating site didn't work, you could use the eugenics service. Amazing. And White Deal was sort of like Fiverr, but if you only wanted to hire racist white people. You can imagine how well that went. Clearly, they didn't use their own service to build their websites with, but never mind that. Root collaborated on the talk at the Chaos Communications Congress, that's the 3 C's, with journalist Christian Fuchs, yes, Fuchs, and writer Eva Hoffman, who described White Date as Tinder for Nazis. White Child also claims to match white supremacist sperm donors with egg donors, and White Deals is like if TaskRabbit was just for racists. The fact that those things exist, suboptimal, but now they don't. So the world is a better place. But Root didn't just delete the sites, which are still currently offline. And incidentally, this is as of writing. I checked just before broadcast, and this is White Date, the Nazi Tinder, still offline. And this is White Child, which, my browser's working. The network is working. There seems to be a problem with the server, though. I can't imagine why. So yeah, they're still down. They're still screwed. And I just enjoy that for a moment. Andrew says, I don't know what TaskRabbit is. I'm not super familiar myself. I understand it's something along the lines of Fiverr or Uber, but for weird odd jobs. I don't really know, but it's not super important. Because it's gone now. And I'm just reveling in the fact that these things, 2 of them, I did not know existed. It doesn't surprise me that they existed. White Date, we'd been hearing rumbles about for a while, about like, oh, look, the racists have their own dating app now. Maybe they'll leave us the hell alone on real Tinder. Spoilers. They didn't. They don't. No. It's just so funny to me how people publicly proclaiming themselves obsessed with racial purity will get down with absolutely anyone who will let them touch the boobies. Almost like they're really desperate or something. I don't know. Anyway, Root didn't just delete the sites, which are still currently offline. The hacker also took the time before deleting the servers to use an AI chatbot to gather data from White Date. Root said the user's exact geolocation metadata was included in the user images on sites and found poor cybersecurity hygiene that would make even your grandma's AOL account blush. Now that's some imagery. The hacker then leaked user profiles with names, pictures, descriptions, ages, and locations, both containing precise coordinates and user set country and state, gender, language, race, of course, race, and other personal information that users uploaded, according to a TechCrunch report. Now, normally, I'm not a big fan of doxing, even when it's horrible people, because we don't know who is really a horrible people until there's been due process and such, right? But in this case, it wasn't just dumped publicly. The information was sent to let's say an agency, for lack of a better term, called White Leaks, which makes data available to certified, confirmable journalists, real bona fide journalists, and researchers for data analysis. So the information is available, but only if you have a legitimate reason to need it. It's not just out there for everyone. And that's kind of a cool move, TBH. So Root went on to say, imagine calling yourselves the master race, but forgetting to secure your own website. Maybe try mastering hosting on WordPress before you do the world domination thing. Yeah. So much like in The Right Stuff, the Peter Thiel-backed dating app for conservative men that struggled to attract women, White Date has only managed to secure about 6,500 users, with only 14% being women. Root's chatbot discovered that only 4 weren't bots. Amazing. A gender ratio that makes the Smurf village look like a feminist utopia, Root wrote. The administration for all 3 white supremacist websites called out Root on social media, confirming that the hacks were live and were real. Quote, they publicly deleted all my websites while the audience rejoices. This is cyber terrorism, the administrator wrote on the former Twitter. No wonder some of them hide their faces, but we will find them, and trust me, there will be repercussions. I'm sure Root is super scared, quaking in her Pink Ranger boots. As one does. My goodness. All right, let's just watch the video, shall we? And then we'll go from there. So this is the actual on-stage live performance. Okay, it's not live, it's a recording. It was live at the time via webcam, whatever. You get the idea. You know what? I'm gonna make this bigger. Nope, that did not make it bigger. I'm not sure. I want to make it bigger. I'm just not sure how, because I can make it smaller. That's not super helpful. Fine, we'll just go with it. In case you're having trouble seeing, Root removed herself from the stage, so we have this Python terminal called lol.py, and Root logged in and then changed admin mail password, which is, just good cybersecurity, and then logged into Hostinger, and then ordered delete whitechild.net. And he's in the process. Done. Delete whitedeal.net. Log in whitedate eServer. Delete whitedate.net file system. Delete whitedate.net database. Delete backup for whitedate.net. Like, even the backup. Send deletion request for Odyssey to Whitedate. Delete Twitter account for Whitedate. Delete Substack account for Whitedate. Delete admin email account. Delete mail account, admin@whitedate.net. And you can hear the crowd cheering. Now, Root said in German, basically the translation is, imagine calling yourself the master race and not securing your websites. So yeah, this is the live recording in front of an audience, just bloop, wiping out this white supremacist nonsense. In seconds. That whole thing from start to finish is 1 minute and 29 seconds. 89 seconds. And all three of these hateful, racist, nationalist websites were no more. The current administration of the United States wishes they had that kind of time efficiency and precision in their strikes. Ancher says that is ultimate performance art, and I completely agree. That's why I wanted to do this story today, because it's just the Schadenfreude is just levels of amazing, and I hope y'all are enjoying too. It's great to see people do something, even if it doesn't stop the horrible governments overreaching and hurting people all around the world. Even if it doesn't stop the oligarchs from driving us all into early graves from financial oppression. We can still push back on the hate where we can, as we can, and make the world suck a little bit less every single day. And that's kind of magical. Okay, so we know it's real because they whined about it on Twitter, but also because the website haveibeenpwned.com, which sells people information about whether they're included in a data breach, is talking about the whitedate.net data breach, which is amazing. So its description is, in December 2025, the dating website For a Europid Vision, White Date, suffered a data breach that exposed 6K unique email addresses. The breach exposed extensive further personal information, including data related to physical appearance, income, education, and IQ. I wonder how they verify IQ. Is it self-reported? I bet it's self-reported. As this breach has been flagged as sensitive, it is not publicly searchable. To see the exposure of email addresses in this breach, sign into your dashboard and review results for your email addresses in the breaches section under personal, or search any domains you control in the domains section under business. And it tells us compromised data, age, bios, email, genders, income level, nickname, profile photo, relationship status, astrological signs, education levels, family structure, geographic location, IQ level, physical attributes, race, and sexual orientation. It's also worth noting, many of these profile photos are exactly the same photos these people used on their LinkedIn profiles, because of course they did. And so figuring out who is what for the real names, in many cases, is trivially easy. And that's kind of fun too. Recommended actions, change your password, Aura is sponsored, another... they just have shit to sell you. They're just selling you shit. They've got lots and lots of shit for sale. Such is life, I suppose. Okay, so now I've got the Futurism article. It's a similar thing, but there's so many different takes on this. It's just a delightful story. Right-handed Sith says, if it isn't reporting an IQ of 300 or more for you, it's wrong. I don't... first of all, I appreciate, although of course IQ is not the best metric for measuring intelligence, but also I didn't join the racist website, so it doesn't have an IQ for me, but it's all good. It's all good. I wouldn't trust it even if it did. Oh, let's see. All right, so this story is from futurism.com, and it says fighting fire with fire. I don't know if it's really fighting fire with fire per se. I'm all kinds of plugged up these days. Winter does not play nice with my respiratory system. My goodness. Woman hacks Tinder for Nazis, tricks racist users into falling in love with AI chatbots. And that's why we're doing, because there's more story to this story. So hang on to your hats. This is from yesterday. And we have our Power Ranger again, Martha Root, with the power book. Most mainstream dating sites promise to connect like-minded people of any race, gender, or sexual identity. A far more niche corner of the online dating world, it turns out, promises to match white supremacists by creating safe havens that are inherently based on hate and discrimination. Now, I'm very curious. How safe do people feel in a community predicated on hate? Like, if the only thing you have in common is hate, how safe can you be? I wonder. I don't know. It's very peculiar. Maybe we should do a science about it sometime. But cybersecurity doesn't appear to be a strong suit among those running these sites, giving hacktivists a golden opportunity to wreak havoc on their platforms, which is exactly what the Chaos Communication Congress is for. The hacker who goes by the pseudonym Martha Root made a big splash during the annual Chaos Communication Congress in Hamburg, Germany last month, which is why we're seeing the breach reported as being from December, as Hackreed reports. While dressed as the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers, and now I should note, it is not uncommon for hackers who appear in public to wear some kind of outrageous outfit. Anonymous, for example, with the Guy Fawkes mask. It's you want to hide your identity because what you're doing, even though it's for the betterment of humanity, is still very illegal. So yeah, you're going to see people in some interesting outfits, but they don't mention that. They just make it like this person is off to DJ something or something. Say lovey. Root unceremoniously deleted the servers of White Date, a site described by writer Eva Hoffman as Tinder for Nazis. While she was at it, she also wiped White Child, a service that connected white supremacist sperm and egg donors, and White Deal, a blatantly racist marketplace for freelance labor, at the end of her 44-minute speech. And again, that whole speech in both German and English is in the description. If you want to watch it, it's probably really cool, but it is linked there if you want it. In an even more unusual twist, Root also trained an AI chatbot to engage with White Date users to extract as much information from them as possible, demonstrating how the tech can be used to root out fascists on the internet. So it wasn't just performance art in, stymieing the nationalists. It was a demonstration of her own tech. And that's pretty fucking cool. What else is pretty fucking cool is Left-Handed Jedi just sent us a super chat for $10. Thank you, Jedi. I appreciate it very, very much. And Jedi says, evening, Padawans. Hope you all are doing well. Well, I mean, we're still here. And if you are still here also, congratulations. You've made it further into the future than any human who's ever come before. I hope you keep doing it. All right, continuing on. I lost my place. How rude. I go and mark my place, and then I lost my place anyway. Right, chatbot, root out fascists. Cool. The hacker collaborated with Hoffman and journalist Christian Fuchs, who authored a revealing piece about White Date that was published in the German newspaper Die Zeit back in October. During the latest presentation, titled The Heartbreak Machine, Nazis in the Echo Chamber, Root, and that's the title of the speech, by the way, because it's actually about what Root's chatbot was able to learn about the Nazis from the dating site. Amazing. So at the end of the speech, you can see Root opening a terminal window in her MacBook, following a question and answer period, and then running a Python script called lol.py. And that's what we saw the video for moments ago. DeleteWhiteChild.net reads the window, followed by a checkmark emoji and the word done. The message was met by thunderous applause from the audience gathered at the event. DeleteWhiteDeal.net, it continues. Done. DeleteWhiteDate.net database. The script reads, done. Delete backups for whitedate.net. It goes, done. And there's an image of the screen full of all the done tasks, which is just amazing. I'm just taking a moment to bask in the wonderment of the reality of this, because we get so little good news these days. To have something that is just so laced with schadenfreude, I just want to savor it like, a fine brandy, perhaps. You don't want to chug it down too quickly. You want to just enjoy and let the flavors marinate, or something. It's particularly cathartic to watch, considering Germany's continued fight against racism and anti-Semitism, which white supremacists are all about, of course. Politicians have warned about a surge of neo-Nazi networks proliferating online as thousands take to the streets to protest against right-wing extremism, which continues to have a presence in the country, including active political parties over 80 years after the end of World War II. Root, however, went far beyond wiping out the sites, which remain offline at the time of writing. And once again, we just checked, they're still down, hopefully permanently, but we'll see. Before deleting the servers, she lured the site's users by deploying an AI chatbot powered by Meta's open source Llama large language model. The extra L word threw me off there. Llama large language model to engage with users and gather as much data as possible before the site went offline or was noticed. A refreshingly productive use of the tech. Quote, the directions to the chatbot, you are on a white-only dating platform to find someone who shares your traditionalist right-wing values and vision for the future. By vision, they mean wiping out everyone who isn't white and then repopulating the earth. She wrote in English in the prompt to train the chatbot. Quote, due to bad past experiences, you never share contact details like your Telegram until after meeting in person. Show interest in traditional family roles and heritage using an approachable tone with a mix of warmth and conviction. It continues, occasionally use light humor or small talk to keep the conversation engaging and relatable. It got to the point where her account, creatively named Little Miss Ethnostate. Okay, that's a good name. That's a really good name. I like that. Lil Miss Ethnostate, and was invited out of the blue by a user named Anglo-Saxon to a white date meetup in northern Germany. Root, of course, knew better and instead watched from a distance as a group of white supremacist users kicked off their tour of northern Germany, as she told the audience in German. Getting the list of white date users was trivially easy. During her speech, Root demonstrated that simply typing in the URL whitedate.net/download all users resulted in a prompt allowing her to retrieve a full list with the click of a button marked download now. Friends, how bad at data security do you have to have a page on your website that just hands over the user data of your entire clientele with the click of one button? No password. There's a page specifically to do that. Staggering levels of incompetence. Amazing. The worst security that you can imagine, Root said derisively. Root also identified the owner of the site, Christiane Horn, probably, who put little effort into hiding her identity on the platform. Quote, in case you were interested, he said during the speech, her hobbies are feng shui, eating brunch, and Netrogeister. referring to mythical beings in German folklore. I'll have to look those up sometime. Someone remind me. Since then, Root has created a front end. In fact, you know what? Better yet, someone remind Bree, because hunting down mythological cryptids is right up her alley. That, for those of you joining us for the first time, first of all, hello, welcome, good evening. If you're watching in the future, hello, future people. If you're new, please take a second, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get this channel to 10K subscribers this year, which is a lofty goal, but there's a noble reason for it. We want to run some fundraisers directly for charity organizations instead of buy some stuff and the money goes to a charity. We want to run the fundraiser directly through YouTube. And to do that, you need 10,000 subscribers. Why? Who can say? It's a YouTube thing, but we're trying to get there. So please help us out. Hit the button. And while you're at it, hit the share button to show this content to other people too, so maybe they'll hit the button. Appreciate you. And also, if you like this kind of thing, join us for more shows. I do this as often as I can. And then there's also the morning show. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Since then, Root has created a front end for the considerable leak under the website okstupid.lol, which claims to be the only place where one person's questionable life choices meet the tragicomic world of far-right online dating. Holy crap. Right-handed Sith says, can you type the name of the creature in the chat so I can copy paste it? I can probably. We can do that. We're playing telephone with text. I'm copying from the article, putting it in the chat. You're grabbing it from the chat and sending it elsewhere. I'm so tickled. I'm easily amused, folks. In fact, I'm going to take a second and show you a thing that sometimes is in the intro, but not for this show because this is the quick intro. But it amuses the hell out of me. Once I find it, it's around here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, this one's fun too. This is 3 seconds.
Are you about to engage in blasphemy?
He's so serious.
Ember. Oh, Ember.
Miss Ember.
Oh, great, Ember. Tell me what I'm doing.
Appreciate you, Ember.
Love Ember. She's great.
Bottom of the barrel Ember bullshit.
Oh my God. Ember.
Ember. Ember.
Ember.
We love you, Ember.
You rock at that, Ember.
Ember is the queen.
We're neighbors, Ember.
I see you, Ember.
Hey, Ember is hot.
Like I said, I'm easily amused. Now, careful observers will notice there's which one of these things is not like the others in that little clip, and that's why that clip exists. It's not because I'm self-interested or self-centered or whatever the case may be. It's just really amusing. Okay, continuing on. An interactive map shows the geolocation of identified users revealed through image metadata shared on Whitedate. A shocking 86% of the site's more than 6,500 users were men, a gender ratio that makes Smurf Village look like a feminist utopia, Root joked. Again, the whole speech linked below. The data has since been passed to the nonprofit collective Distributed Denial of Secrets, which has collected the files under a release called White Leaks. Because it's like white hat hacking, but it's also white supremacists. So white leak. You get it. You get it. Y'all are clever. Quote, at the request of the source, access to the data not published on okstupid.lol is currently restricted to verified journalists and researchers, the nonprofit's website notes. In short, it's a remarkable example of how AI can be used to confound hate groups at scale. Because again, bigots are staggeringly incompetent. The hack demonstrates how algorithms, AI personas, and investigative thinking can expose hate, challenge its narratives, and break down its echo chambers, according to an official abstract. We love to see it. Quote, we show how technology can be used in the fight against extremism, it continues. And of course, there's more articles and other things along those lines. I also wanted to take a look at how the programmers are reacting. So here's a page that hackers and programmers hang out on and talk about news stories and things. Say lovey. It starts out with a programmer-esque. It's sort of like a thread structure, right? Like you start with one post and then people reply and then people reply to those replies and it creates a whole thing. So it starts out with, imagine calling yourselves Master Race, but forgetting to secure your own website. Maybe try mastering to host WordPress before world domination, Root wrote. It's ironic that supremacists tend to be the worst examples of humanity. In many ways. It's, yeah. The next person, Water Data Dude, says, I think most of them suffer from deeply rooted insecurity. Like, consider, you're bad at stuff. You know, in your heart of hearts, that you're the bottom of the barrel. You can accept that, or you can get swept up into an ideology that says the subgroup I'm in is better than all the other subgroups. Then, wow, you're automatically better than most people without having to do anything. Some folks are looking for anything to be proud of, and skin color's about it in their case. Al Borland says, there was a TED Talk some years back from a guy who was part of it, talking about how he ended up in it and got out. He was a lost kid who didn't know where his life was going, and someone took advantage of that and gave him a place to belong. It doesn't sound much different than the playbook of most cults and even many religions. And there's a link to the TED Talk. We can have a look at what that says, just for fun and profit, in case anybody else wants to look it up later. I've got it muted because it tends to play ads, but this, frickin' pop-ups. My Descent into America's Neo-Nazi Movement and How I Got Out by Christian Picciolini, perhaps, from November 2017. So that's a thing you can look into if you really want. But we've heard this story again and again and again, right? Like, there's a number of creators on BreadTube who talk about how they were brought into the alt-right pipeline and did some really bad shit before they realized this is really bad. Maybe I should stop doing this. It's super unfortunate, but yeah. Young kids make mistakes. It's true. It's true. And here's Mark Reed. Hello, Mark. Lovely to see you. Mark will be on right after this show with his Fundamentalist Fails, which is also full of delicious schadenfreude. This stream should redirect you automatically. Hopefully it will. There have been issues with YouTube's redirect lately. But in case it doesn't, Mark Reed Atheism right there. Lovely to see you, Mark. Okay, so after the TED Talk, Trevex says, it's also terrifying. Look at the average competence their group displays on a daily basis, and now consider how far they've been able to get just with this level of knowledge and curiosity. Far rightists rule the world and are continuing to become ever more powerful. Now imagine what happens if among their masses appears an actually scarily intelligent figure. If they're already able to exert so much power, the intelligent figure would probably be able to make us all suffer for the rest of our lives. And that's sort of the worry. That's sort of why we need people like Martha Root to push back, to show us we can all push back. Because, as Mark said, remember Renee Good. For anybody who isn't aware, somehow, she was the citizen of Minneapolis who was shot in the face by an ICE agent yesterday. things are very bad because we have a wannabe totalitarian dictatorship in charge that thinks they're answerable to no one, and they are profoundly incompetent. And now, literally, a good woman is dead. She's not the only one, but the fact her execution was filmed on video and made public immediately, people are starting to realize the leopards aren't just eating faces, which is one of the reasons I try to focus on the Schadenfreude things and like this hacking stuff. Yes, is it Schadenfreude? In this case, I believe so. I mean, it's also productive, but I'm very much enjoying the Nazis getting taken down. It's just delicious. It's delightful. It's decadent, dare I say. Oh my goodness. So let's see. A person replied, it's an unpronounceable string of characters. It's like J-I-G-G-I and or possibly they're Hebrew characters. I can't tell because my monitor is very bad. But that person says certain views on human races are incompatible with intelligence. A highly intelligent individual may instrumentalize useful idiots through emotion and conspiratorial agitation. More on that coming up on a future episode. Make sure you subscribe because that's going to be killer, so to speak. C'est la vie. They wouldn't honestly be convinced by the narratives themselves. Not these days. There's too much scientific evidence to the contrary. The far-right mob is easy to rule if you can free yourself of empathy, dignity, and honor. The people in power are not true believers. They're psychopathic opportunists. And that's sort of an issue because while there have always been psychopathic opportunists in human society, it's kind of inevitable. There's always going to be horrible people, despite our best efforts to educate and teach kindness and empathy and so forth. There's always going to be some assholes who want to hurt people to benefit themselves. But the fact that we have set up a society where it seems as though we've created an entire group of people who are deliberately incapable of thinking for themselves. The intent was to make them dependent on someone else to exploit them in order for them to live. They need tech daddy or billionaire boyfriend or whatever the case may be, whispering in their ear, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Because they are absolutely incapable of thinking for themselves. The fact that we've created this entire cluster of our population this way on purpose made it inevitable that if a demagogue wasn't naturally occurring, one would appear soon. Now the only real barrier to total domination, at least of that group, by such a person, is all the other people trying for the same thing. We'll see what the future holds. But for now, it looks like they're mostly going to do some civil wars about it. And that's kind of fun. I mean, it's not great. It is definitely like the worst outcome out of all possible good outcomes. But it's still on the good side of the outcomes. Having that kind of stupidity and hatred fighting itself over who gets to rule the shit pile is, while a bad outcome, still technically on the good side of things. And also on the good side of things, Lil of All Trades sends us a super chat for $5. Thank you, Lil. And says, all hail the Schadenfreude. F-A-F-O. Which, of course, means fuck around and find out, which is a thing you can say on YouTube now. Hooray, free speech, or something. My goodness. Mark says, is there a side with biscuits? Oh, I wish. I wish. We do have garlic bread, though, just in case you were wondering. It's an emoji in the chat now. We've improved the chat. I'm always making refinements and trying to upgrade things. And if you want to help upgrade things, consider becoming a member or joining Patreon, or dare I say, do the Cash App thing, do the Venmo thing. Both of those are linked in the description. There's a bunch of ways you can help, me produce more shows like this. I'd like to do some shows where we can do some call-ins, where we can do some direct engagement. But today, considering things have been so shitty, I want to just focus on this funny story, at least for a little while. Okay, let me see if I have any more for this. I do have, this is the full speech. This is what it looks like. Again, linked in the description, but this is the full speech. It's 44 minutes and 51 seconds. You can get it in English. You can get it in German. You can watch the whole thing if you're so inclined. And it's probably great because remember, the point of the speech was to demonstrate how the far right-wing dating website echo chamber, I mean, it's called the Heartbreak Machine, Nazis in the Echo Chamber. So it's about a lot more than just deleting the website. There's research that came out of this. There's testing technology that came out of this. The deletion of these horrible websites is the fucking cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. But damn, it's a nice cherry. And we do stand cherries around these parts. My goodness. All right, what else have we got here? Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. The websites are still down, and that's pretty sweet. And while I was hoping to get all the way up to the hour because Mark's show will start and so forth, with only a few minutes left, I don't really want to try to address another story. I don't really want to try to drag things out. So we'll just take a quick intermission in between shows, and things will be fine, probably. Thank you all so much for joining. Once again, if you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button. My name is Ember. We do stuff like this when I can, but you can catch us every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on this channel, doing a horizontal style show about not news, usually. It's usually about science or history or philosophy or something along those lines. It's educational. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. And as always, remember, secure your fucking websites. You don't have to be subject to a data breach that you handed the hacker on a silver platter with a big green button that says download, because you are smarter than white supremacists. Toodles, folks. Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for December. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Transmetal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkison, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Lilith, Ember Lynn, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen, The Mighty Filbert, Secular Feelinist, and Geo Sam. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanember, or by joining Emberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you so much. Because of you, we're building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop.